Welcome to Ride Funhouse. To my right is Renetta Prasad, also known around Snoopy's Castle as Lady Renetta. And I am Mike Lee, also known sometimes as Sir Mike. We are on episode 3. How about that?
Well, we made it.
All downhill from here. It's fantastic.
Third time's the charm, and then here we go.
Mm-hmm. How are you doing?
I'm vibing.
Fantastic. Anything new?
No.
Very good.
Not worth sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes no news is good news.
Do you think that I will ever actually answer that question?
You vibe sometimes.
No, with the anything new question.
I think it'd be great if you had something so new that you couldn't not share it. You know.
With the camera.
What might that be?
No idea.
No idea?
Good luck, we'll find out.
Some new project you've begun?
Do I project?
I don't know. Not until you tell us.
We'll find out. For right now. No.
You could be working on anything. So that's the mystery of Renetta. I like that. So,
The mental health.
you'll decide if and when you'd like to tell us. So, but I'll remain curious.
Is there a mystery?
In the meantime, you don't have to be mysterious.
I don't think I am.
Okay. All right. Unpredictable, that's for sure. May I do a quick correction?
Sure.
I did mention that Tebow from Peanuts did not first appear in 1977's Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, but rather in the comic strip in 1970. Surprise, surprise, he wasn't in Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown at all. It was 3 bullies and a cat. Tebow was not the antagonist of the film. I'm going to drop it with that. I can't believe how wrong I was. But great character, pretty good film. They did not intersect. And I still haven't seen Snoopy Presents for Auld Lang Syne. Have you? No.
Have not.
If and when, to be determined.
Just gotta pick a day.
Yeah, somewhere off in the future. A timely bit of information.
Yeah.
By the time anyone besides us sees this, one of my favorite rides ever will have turned.
When you say us, do you mean you?
So if we rode this as children, we didn't ride it together.
Oh.
So,
We didn't?
I don't think so.
Why not?
No.
Didn't we go to school together?
We did, but we weren't close friends. We just
Oh,
had
that's
friends
true.
in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember?
Take some time
Yeah.
for me to make friends.
Oh please, I was the one who had no friends. Look at me now. I've got a box with some paper in it. You're sitting over here, keeping me company in the pit of hate.
I also have a box.
Yeah, it's got an R on it,
Yeah.
so for really
Nothing
special.
in it, just like up here.
Please. If You Had Wings turns 50 by the time anyone will see this.
Wow.
That was sponsored by Eastern Airlines and Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. It ran from 1972 to 1987.
Do you get a close-up of this?
We'll put that on the screen. Not just one of my probably 3 favorite rides, my grandmother's favorite ride.
Really?
She loved If You Had Wings, and it was essentially just a 5-minute commercial for Eastern Airlines. Just here's where you would go if you rode on an Eastern Airlines jet. Mm-hmm. You'd go to Mexico City, or you'd go somewhere in Jamaica, or you'd go to New Orleans, and you'd pass by little film vignettes of those different places. And it was in the air conditioning. It was free. It didn't require an A, B, C, D, or E ticket back when the park required tickets for most of the rides. Mm. So, very popular ride. Many people my age, your age, remember it. But you weren't down here. You were still traveling around the country. You hadn't settled in Florida yet. So I think that's the only reason you don't remember it firsthand. But would have been 50 if they'd only kept it. But Eastern Airlines did not continue their sponsorship of Magic Kingdom past 1987. No longer an airline. They brought it back. It didn't last. But you have a favorite airline?
When I was a kid, JetBlue.
JetBlue.
Because of the blue chips.
Yeah, JetBlue was cool the first time I went on that. Yeah.
Yeah, the blue chips the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like them.
Yeah. I remember something to do with...
They're just odd, so I like them.
Yeah.
Like the flavor's not like there, but like the, you know?
The novelty item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to Massachusetts or up north, that's usually who I'm
You try to get on JetBlue.
traveling with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember Song Airlines?
No.
It was a Delta offshoot. I don't think it's around anymore. I mean, the list of discontinued airlines must be immense. I did
Do you have a
Song.
favorite airline?
It would have been Eastern, but I never flew Eastern. I didn't fly till I was 25.
Really?
Yeah, Eastern was gone.
First time I was on a plane, I was 3.5. Wow. Do I remember it? No.
No. But
That's the first time I was on one.
where'd you go?
I
Wait.
moved to the country.
Let me guess. New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Before Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then you finally made your way down to Florida. Anyway,
Somehow.
we could do a whole episode if you had wings, but
I mean, if you had wings, where would you go? Like, actually,
well, we talked about Switzerland. You
I
know,
feel like that'd be
that'd
a hard flight, though.
yeah, oh,
With your own wings?
with your own wings.
Yeah. Do you have to do the flapping or no?
I'd probably
That changes things.
make it to the roof of Publix. Have to climb down the ladder on the backside. So,
But you have wings. You don't have to climb the ladder.
but they'd be tired.
Oh, so you'd
I
like,
guess
fly
ladder,
halfway up
yeah.
the ladder and then just climb
Yeah,
the rest?
we'll see how far I can make it.
But do you have to flap your wings, though? Or is it like kind of like a plane where they just flap, you know?
You reach out and soar.
Or are your
Well,
wings attached to your arms?
Do I need a runway?
Do you?
Oh, you're like off my back.
Yeah. Depends on your type of wings.
If I was an angel.
I feel like if you're imagining your own wings, I would hope you'd imagine it to be like the easier of the two.
Just think of a bird cartoon and the wings
You
of the
have
arms.
birds,
you
you
know.
have angel wings that
Yeah.
are in a different location.
Angels.
You can be like a flying squirrel.
Ooh, that's flaps, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, you better plan your landing if you're a flying squirrel.
It's
Rocky,
rough.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Or you can have like plane wings, but like on your shoulders, I guess. I don't know.
In the Batman, that was kind of a flying squirrel effect, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see that again.
Not actually flying.
I remember I was surprised by that.
Gliding, yes.
I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But Batman in general, I never associated Batman with flight when I was a kid. And then he just
Yeah.
got more and more flyy.
Yeah, but see, we shouldn't call it flying though, because it's gliding.
It's gliding.
He doesn't actually fly.
He's not flapping the cape. So.
I mean, I don't think flapping the cape is
Nope.
associated with flying, because like Superman doesn't flap his cape. The wind does that for him, but he flies.
Flaps in the air.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. It's gliding.
Batman,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
gliding.
called it. Okay. Anyway, if you had wings.
Yeah.
Grandma wasn't wrong. Remember when we
It's good
talked about, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you didn't?
No, I did not. Okay. We talked about those old rides, those donkey-powered things,
Yeah.
whatnot.
We have more?
Breaking back into the Rider's Funhouse Guide, I've done a little more research. This is, when you're looking at something and then 3 side things open up and now you go down the side things and...
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Correct. Down the Old Rides Festival rabbit hole. In the very first discussion we had, you mentioned that, of course, these bear baskets would have developed in a carnival type atmosphere, which the more I look at it, it's absolutely correct. You were right. Festivals, carnivals, and rides all developed at the same time. Carousel, we determined, came from the term Little War. The jousting came into that. And I did find this insanely small image. It is a painting called Carousel by Franz Floris, Brussels, from 1565. There's a little bit of evolution, but you'll notice it is a pageant more than it is actual jousting. It's along the same timeline because we do know that the carousels, from what we've looked into so far, were used for jousting practice. And that is a processional, also called carousel. So the pageant there is meant to look like a little war, but it's done for the entertainment of royalty
For a wedding.
for a wedding. You can read that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine that was your wedding parade was knights jousting and pulling carriages, things of that nature. Would you be impressed?
With jousting?
Seeing some-
That doesn't like that doesn't seem like they go hand in hand. Like you're like violence, wedding celebration. You know? That how who made that decision? And they were like, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's like see if we kill each other.
Well,
Or are these people getting married?
yeah. It was practice for war.
Yeah.
but it-
Okay, backpedal question. So these jousting competitions, were they like safe for the loser? Because they were not always safe for the loser, right? So like if you're practicing for war by killing your people, you know, that doesn't sound right.
Correct. That's
All
like
right, that's all I needed to know.
That's
Right there, answer.
strategically disadvantaged if you are.
You're like, these two strong people, that's who we want to see go against each other because it's more fun to see who's the winner.
Let's-
All right, homie's gonna get stabbed and thrown off his horse or whatever animal. Cool. He might get an infection and die later on, or he might survive and get better, but hopefully it's in time before the war starts so that we have both of these people now able to help us out. Or, let's just kill off half of the population that we consider strong and hope for the best. 300, here we go.
Excellent point.
That just seemed like such a terrible rabbit hole to go down.
I read this much, that the early spinning carousels, baskets, people trying to use a lance to get a ring
Yeah.
as practice for combat, that did evolve into
The jousting that throws me.
the jousting.
Yeah.
From what I understand, is something that evolved into more of a sport, and they try to perfect the armor in such a way that, as it was conducted for sport, people would not be murdered.
Yeah, but
Right.
you obviously have trial and error there. So
Oh, yeah.
your odds.
You're in harm's way, no matter what.
Water dummies on a horse. See if it gets punctured and leaks. Do you leak like a water balloon or like a plastic container? That's how that's gonna go.
Questions we need answered.
Do you
will we-
bleed out like a water balloon, or is this like actually like hard material? Yeah, like or a stream, that we can try to clog.
Were the medics on hand?
With their advanced medicine here.
I'm trying to think of reality, then I'm thinking Game of Thrones, and it's all melding into this.
I'm sorry, I took us down a completely different.
No, it's valid. It all.
Does
it
no
all,
one else's mind go to that?
This
Like,
all ties in, and again, and we work at a jousting ride. But I read that the lances didn't originally have the thing that went up to protect your hand. They did that later on to keep people from getting hurt when they did it for sport
Yeah.
and spectacle. So of course, if you've got a knight who is in this tournament to represent your house or your crown, you want them to continue to win battles, not have this freak accident, where now they're dead just because the armor wasn't good enough. So the carousel form apparently became so popular that it was not just used for combat anymore. The general public was invited to take part. And that is where you see the merry-go-round coming out of that. Something that we wondered who lined up for something for the first time.
Yeah.
And you said, well, if it's a festival, people would have lined up for it. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That, hey, I want to do that thing. If I don't line up, I'm not going to get to do it. And I would like to find all those dots connected somewhere, but I don't yet. We have, however, talked about other spinning forms, how they were powered, and right up the same alley that you brought up, festivals. The first named festival that I could find a reference to was called Bartholomew Fair. And it ran from the 1100s to the 1800s, founded by a jester whose name escapes me. And it was done because the king was sad, because I think the king's son had died, and the jester came along and said, well, maybe this will cheer up the king. We'll create a fair that takes place every year. And you'll forget all about your troubles and your woes.
I
Can-
do anything but go to therapy, right?
We're gonna set up this massive anything but the actual thing you need. Anything but asking for directions.
Oh my god. Well, distractions are great.
Right?
Don't think about what actually happened.
Hey,
Let's
King,
distract you really quick.
I heard you're really sad like a dead son.
Oh.
What's up with the elephant, though?
Yes,
You
the
see that
elephants.
guy juggling over there?
Juggling.
Let's add some fire to it. Even more of a spectacle. Pay attention to that. Not the fact that you're sad.
So, fun is fun.
Oh man.
If you study the details
Here's
in
some
that,
music. It'll cheer you up.
right?
You'll forget after the fact when you get home and go to bed.
We'll play a lute.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Play a dainty.
It's a two-headed baby in there. You
Oh
know.
my god.
Well, you know, circuses, fairs, festivals, rides,
Is
all
that
of them
a
together.
Ferris wheel over there?
Correct. You have the earliest forms of what became a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought, well, the date of this painting,
Where did you find this?
is that not like 1808? That's a later incarnation of
Hey,
Bartholomew Fair.
I found the ride where people. Do you remember the video that we were talking about? With
Yes.
yeah, there it
Yeah,
is.
that's the one. So this fair was built in something called Smithfield, London, which, of course, before it became the site of a fair, was a jousting field. I'm not even kidding. You can't separate
Sounds
this
right.
stuff. It's all interlocked. And they put the fair there.
Celebration and death,
Yeah.
hand in hand.
Yeah. You know,
Literally.
danger. So multiple types of rides, and we will obviously put this on the screen. But Bartholomew Fair was shut down for lack of a better term, public indecency.
I have a question.
Of course.
So, like, when looking at this as the first, is it like anywhere in the world? Because I would assume that things like that happened even like way back with like ancient Egyptians. and
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely, yeah. Not the first festival.
But like the first named one that
Correct.
you could find like an actual recorded name of it.
the first one I could find, and there's so much research to be done.
Yeah,
I-
we're never gonna finish.
I don't know how you finish because things are
Because
continually.
like different cultures and like different time period. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're never.
When we find hieroglyphics of people waiting in line for, the Sphinx ride, then we'll have another leaf to turn. But
Building the pyramid doesn't count.
unless she had a slide built into the backside, like in Switzerland.
I don't think the slide was on purpose.
The accidental slide. Yeah.
If you didn't slide down, you weren't getting down. Right?
Sometimes you'll slow down when you didn't mean to.
Then you take a tumble and that's it.
Yeah.
So that'd be unfortunate. The best time to start a video podcast is when you've lost all command of your senses and your words are failing.
We're
you
on
know?
equal ground here. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, as long as you don't mind. Bartholomew Fair is no longer, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
But carnivals and circuses And the public began to enjoy the carousel. It was no longer just for those training for war. And I'll continue to look into that.
Things are looking up.
Things are
No
looking
longer
up.
just for the purpose of war.
Yeah, you no longer get speared as a matter of certainty.
For funsies.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see where this leads. I'm not doing it next year because I don't exist anymore. Look what I found.
What?
I'm thinking I died jousting. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I skipped some of that. My brain stopped
We're
processing.
researching. Is there a book about the history of rides? Well, I thought that would save us some time. You don't want to lean too heavily on Denzel.com. So this book traces the history of amusement parks, and since these festivals,
Just cut myself with this.
oh, you got a paper cut?
We're vibing. It's okay.
Okay, you pour a
I'll
little bit
survive.
of Cayman Jack on it. Seal it right up.
Yeah. Make sure there's no infection.
It'll sting. Well, this is just
this is how the
an
jousting
absolute.
competition went.
That's a trove. That book. So would you mind mentioning the title of the book and the author?
Oh yeah, the amusement park. 900 years of thrills and spills. And the dreamers and schemers who built them.
Schemers. Anyway, I
It's
think
the thrills and spills for me.
The implication of spills.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
much.
The spills and the schemers, you know? That's where you want to go with rides. But yeah, had to be kind of scheming to get certain things done, so makes sense. Stephen Silverman?
Stephen Silverman. That's the name? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot that part. I got stuck on the scheming and the spills.
The scheming and the spills. We'll look into this because I've only just received it, and I wanted to make sure that you knew we had that now for our Pit of Hate library. Something we can maybe pull more information out of as to how all of these rides evolved into things that people were experiencing at carnivals, festivals, fairs, and what I really want to get to is track rides. Where did we round the corner? Can we identify the first ride where spinning in a circle is not good enough? We need a track. And I know of some early forms that are mentioned in there, but can we get to what the first one was? That's my goal.
Okay.
What the process will be at arriving there, whether the book actually tells us that, I'm not sure yet. Do you have any guesses as to what the first track ride might have even been? No,
Do you?
I would be cheating if I pretended I hadn't read some things.
I mean,
But
you can just say
I,
it.
I know of an early track ride that was horses.
Okay, so do you actually have the answer?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't
so
know
then
the first.
Go ahead, educated guess.
Yeah. I didn't even have a guess. I saw that, here's horses on a track.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're no longer spinning, we're no longer jousting, we are racing horses. And there are carousel forms of that. Steeplechase is one of them up in the Coney Island Luna Park. But there was a more involved version, which we'll get to. If we can't figure out what the first one was, we'll just jump right into that one.
Okay.
But they had actual jockeys riding the horses, racing each other, as if they were real,
Put this back because I'm going to start reading and stop listening to you.
which probably the better bet for you. More information in here
I'll read it later.
than in here. Yeah.
Oh, no. Different information, so still relevant.
Different, yeah. There's probably less Mr. Toad in that book than in my skull. But at any rate, I wanted you to know we have that.
Yeah, I'll probably end up reading it.
Yeah. And we'll get to the heart of what that first track
It's
ride
not going
was.
to like that because then I won't be listening.
Well, if it wasn't horses, and there's no separating them as far as I can tell right now,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think another type of track ride might have been? Because I do not have the answer.
I don't know if I would think like track rides come first. I would think like slides would come first.
And I think you're probably right. As individual channels side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily a carousel.
Especially like anywhere that's like ice related, like winters.
Right.
I would think that would come first.
More like a toboggan, maybe.
And like sleds and like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before a track.
A downhill.
When it comes to rides, at
a
least.
downhill run.
Yeah.
And maybe they got more elaborate
Yeah.
with time. Okay, well, on that note, would you like to end this Lander discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good time.
Have at it.
Okay, so next week's episode will be broadcasting from.
We're finally going to Switzerland. After talking about it for 9 or 10 episodes, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Ride that
I
funicular.
feel like I've been talking about it for like a couple years now.
Way overdue.
Yeah,
We'll see you then.
I'm excited.